let's get into art mode. We've got our card chosen already. I've shown you what we're going to do part way and or second picture if we have time. But let's just get into art mode at this point. We'll take a few deep breaths in. So that would be 3 at the top of the breath. Just hold your breath for just for a moment, a second, count to 3, count to 5, and then release. And then we'll take the second and third breath doing the same thing. So as we do that, we'll just drop our shoulders way down, open up this area so we have lots of oxygen. So first deep breath in and hold it and release. Second deep breath in and hold it and release. Shoulders down, open this up. Third deep breath in and hold it and release. Okay, so now I think we're into art mode. We're relaxed. This is not a difficult picture today. The hardest part would have been the drawing, so congratulations to you for doing it. For anybody that's new on today, this is a watercolor art class. I'll just go through step by step, but this picture is not a difficult picture. If you've got the drawing already, hopefully you've drawn that. It's black and it's a mixture of blue and ochre to come up with that green olivey color. I'll just try and center that second picture so Troy can see that. Everything in it we need. There we go. So the picture, having been drawn, the whole bike, the biker, the wheels, everything is black. If you are not comfortable with a pen or with a brush and black ink or a brush and black paint, you can use a felt fine tip marker or a gel pen and just go through and do the little spokes on the tire. So you can do that with a gel pen. You can do that ahead of time, or you can do that at the end. That's up to you. But that's what it would look like if you just used a marker or a gel pen. So if you decide to do that, the only difference is by doing that, the name of your art, the medium you're using, would now be mixed media. It would no longer be considered just a watercolor painting. And so again, if I'm just going to go through and just do the spokes of the tire, just in a black pen or marker, so that they're taken care of, and that's up to you. If you want to wait and do it with the brush, that's fine. But that's just the spokes of the tire. And then I'm just going to use a number 3 brush, a pointed brush. It's just a number 3. We're not getting a whole lot of things wet. I'm just using black paint. I'm just dipping in my water buckets. So you'll need 2 water buckets. One I like to keep clean or clear, and the other I use for rinsing and cleaning off my brushes. So we'll just start with black paint and just start to paint this rider. So that's all I'm using is just plain black paint. And we're just going to paint the whole inside. It's a silhouette. So that's all we're going to do is paint all inside, paint the whole rider and the attachment onto the tire. So we're just painting together as a group. If you've already drawn the picture, perfect. And it's a fairly good sized project, so just take your time working your way around. Dirt bike riding is quite a sport to be part of, a lot of energy. They have a lot of summer events. A lot of parks are open. You can take your camper. So, and again, if you're new, we just usually go through step by step. This is an easier project. We will have a time. For the bigger parts, I can do bigger strokes, but near the edge, I'm just doing short feathery strokes so I don't go outside of the lines. But if you go outside the lines, we can cover that over with some of the green that we're going to put on the outside. With the white in this picture left in the background, not all of it, but with white left is what makes this really stand out. So there's my bike, my dirt bike painted, and now I'll move on to the driver, the rider. And again, just going around the edges, just with short feathery strokes where I need to be more precise. And again, I'm using my number 3 pointed brush just so that I can get in and around some of those little angles. Seems to work well. So if you're new and you haven't signed up for the watercolor art instructions or sketches or details for the next week, you can sign up at wildc188@gmail.com. If you send me an email, then I'll put you on the email list. And so we have the back of my rider done. I have his helmet or her helmet. You can make this a girl if you want to. You can put a ponytail out the back. So with silhouettes, we can change gender easily that way. And as I finish, I'll just go back and have a look. Are there any spots that I've missed? And I've got a few little white spots. I'm painting at a little bit of an angle and backwards. So I just like to go back and just double check. And I'm just going to harden some of those little edges on the side of the bike or the bottom of the bike. So again, for those spokes, I just used a fine point permanent marker, which changes the name of this picture. It's no longer a watercolor. Now it's a mixed media. That's the name of the type of picture. So if you've gone ahead and you've used paint with a brush, then you don't need to change the name. Now I have two colors I'm going to mix together. I've got ultramarine blue and ochre. So when I mix the two of those together, and I want more ochre than blue because I'm looking for an olive green. You see it turns kind of olivey. So that's the two colors mixed together. I've got ochre and ultramarine blue. I'm going to add a little bit of water to that just to lighten it up. And I'm using, you can see I'm using a fairly big brush now. And I'm going to just start to put some splotches around. Just some splotches of paint. I'm not doing anything specific. I'm just looking for some fun background, not necessarily touching the rider. And then I'm going to do the same at the bottom, coming around that tire and up for earth for the look of ground underneath. This is wet on dry. Yes, the paper is still dry. So I'm just looking, and I can mix this around a little bit. I can add a little bit of extra dots on there just to give a little bit of extra depth if I want, or I can just leave it free flowing. But I'm not looking for any specific pattern. I'm just looking for, and any dots that I have that are accumulating down at the bottom, just because I'm on a canvas, just going to bring those up a little bit. So I've got the look of a little bit of grass just by using the tip of my brush, just with fresh paint, or just bringing that up from the bottom. And then just for extra grass, I can use a credit card, just the corner of a credit card. And as that's dry a little bit, I can start to put some marks. It's not quite dry enough yet. So I can start to put some marks, just that will look like that's grass underneath. So if you don't have the credit card handy, you can use the tip of your, the back end of your brush, not the brush part, not the brush part, the other end. So you can start just to put some grooves in your paper, and that will give the look of some grass. And if you like, you can go back over it again with just a little touch of extra dark on the bottom. Just some strokes, upward strokes, that adds to that look of grass. And because it's fresh and your paint underneath is already dried, it will look like a different color, but it's the same, it's color layering on color. So again, that was ochre and ultramarine blue mixed together to come up with that olive color. So we don't need to blow dry. We don't need to do anything special with that. We can just let that dry. Again, like I said, if you want to, you can go back on the other spots with the same color. So you've got a different color underneath. So you have almost a 2D effect. So you can play with this. You can add different colors if you want to. If you wanted to put some browns on there, if you wanted to put a little bit of red, not because he hurt himself, but just red from grasses or bushes. So it just gives you an idea. If you see a template of something that you like, you can trace that picture or draw that picture, pop it onto a white piece of canvas, add a splash of color around the outside, and you've got a beautiful example of dirt bike riding and how fun that can be. If you know somebody in the neighborhood or a friend or a family member that likes to dirt bike ride, I'm sure they'd love to have a picture like this. Dirt bike riders love their sport. So while you're working on your outside colors or finishing your silhouette of your rider, I'll go ahead and read our halftime card. So we're not quite halftime, but we're close. So this is a reflection card. So once you embrace your value, talents, and strengths, it neutralizes when others think less of you. That's nice. As you fall asleep, reflect upon your value, talents, and strengths. So that's a good idea before you go to bed. So again, I'll read it one more time. Once you embrace your value, talents, and strengths, it neutralizes when others think less of you. As you fall asleep, reflect upon your value, talents, and strengths.
Yeah,
Oh, that was fun. That was fun to teach. That's spontaneous art. So I hope you like that. Dirt bike rider. Oh, there you go. That's what you can do in 1 hour.